Best businesses to start in Florida. With a population of over 21.5 million people, and an average 1 million more tourists annually, what business can you establish as a foreigner or resident in Florida? Stay tuned. Number 1 and 3 will shock you. 8. Tourist guide. If you have zero capital for investment, we got you covered. Florida has a huge number of visitors annually. If you know your way in and out of the city, then you can undertake this good startup business idea in Florida with high profit returns. You must be a very friendly person to undertake this business idea, and you may do it successfully. It is one of the best part-time businesses in South Florida, if you are starting alone, but if it an enterprise, you may start full-time at once. Are you looking for new business ideas in Miami, Florida requiring low investment? This is it. For the customers or clients, you can advertise your service for free on the following traveler apps: Ablo, Couchsurfing, Meetup. You can also rent out your residence or part of it as an Airbnb, and offer the Airbnb visitor additional service such as a tour guide. Also, Tinder, though not advisable, is a way to get gig as a travel guide. Do the research of that. I won't go into details due to some YouTube guidelines. 7. Food truck, restaurant. Florida as a tourist destination presents a mix of national and global cultures. That diversity makes it a hotspot for food and beverage business. Eating is inevitable by any person alive. Most people have tight schedule, and others who are tourists don't have time to cook and they must eat. So if you have good cooking skills or can hire others to do it, you could start a hotel or food truck business. With 3% growth estimated for America's food service industry through 2022, Florida could be the ideal state to start a food truck or restaurant. Each model has its pros and cons. For example, starting a restaurant requires more overhead, initial investment, and more employees, but food trucks sometimes have trouble maintaining a regular spot or a rotation of locations. As you plan your food business, keep in mind industry forecasts and food trends, such as 1. A growing number of consumers are interested in plant-based foods, including plant-based, meat-style, foods such as burgers and sausages. 2. Orlando is rated with high marks for the relatively low fees and low friction it takes to set up, get a business license for, and operate a food truck. 3. A typical food truck startup budget is at least $30,000 to $50,000. 4. Florida restaurants may require at least $175,500 to $750,500 to set up shop and get the doors open. The national median total restaurant startup cost is about $375,000. In association with food, you can also apply for food delivery apps. With these apps, you can tend to average about $7,000 to $8,000 monthly. Here is proof.
Overall, I made $8,357. I spent $599 on gas and $49 on an oil change. That brings my total minus expenses to $7,709, which 30% of that will be held aside for taxes next year. I went on 795 trips, averaging $10.50 a trip, going on 27 trips a day.
6. Automotive repair shop. As long as vehicles ride along Florida's roads, there will be a need for auto repair shops. Plus, Florida doesn't require licenses for auto technicians. With some understanding of the industry, opening a Florida auto repair shop could be the key breakthrough to your millionaire lifestyle. Also, Florida has a huge amount of vehicle for hire services due to the tourist population. This equates to more client and market reach for your automotive business. A quick tip is opening a repair branch that also deals with electric cars. From the statistics I have gathered, Florida occupies the second slot for EV sales in America. Startup costs can average around $50,000. Depending on your service market and the size of your shop, you could be looking at around $100,000 in annual revenue. Hourly fees to customers may range $70 to $100, but consider flat rate fees on services such as oil changes. 5. Events planning. Due to a tight schedule, most people don't have time for themselves, or to plan their event, and also most people don't have organizational skills. So if you have organizational skills, why not try this out? It would not require much capital, just a little money to print your business card, which is your office. You are just a call away from your first client deal. You can also offer cute and dreamy picnic packages along the beach or other beautiful sceneries. You could find ideas on this on Instagram and Pinterest. 4. Clubs. When most of us Americans think of hot girl summer, the first destination that comes to mind is Florida's coastline with the likes of Miami, to name a few. This is itself as a huge opportunity as the coastal bed and even most of the interior destination as good locations to set up nightclubs. You can also double down on this by pairing it with a casino. Can be a huge bang if you market yourself well through YouTube travel channels and party-like channels such as Nelk Boys. And you could also host famous celebrity concerts in your club, increasing your popularity, and in turn generating more revenue. 3. Small errands services. Most people that live in Florida, especially Miami, do not have time to take care of their babies, which they would gladly pay for. Ensure you have a clean criminal record before you apply for this job, because most people do a background check before giving the custody of their child to you. And this innovative offline business opportunities are booming in Key West, Florida right now and are much suitable for women. If a man, you can apply for other services such as dog walking, picking up children from school, to name a few. Florida is not an exception to this, however, and you can do this in most parts of the world. 2. Grocery store, franchising. Whether buying into a franchise or opening a niche grocery store, owning your own grocery business can be a path to profits in the Sunshine State. Know your area and the industry, though. Depending on the type of store, profit margins can be as little as 1% for a conventional supermarket, and up to around 10 to 12% for a smaller, more specialized grocer. Be prepared for extensive permit fillings and applications, plus investing potentially $500,000 to start a small or medium-sized store. 1. Real estate. Fort Lauderdale, Orlando, and Jacksonville were some of the nation's hottest real estate markets today. Florida's population grows by 900 people every day, equal to adding a new Orlando-sized city every year. Those new Floridians need somewhere to live, and every Florida business needs locations. In August 2020 alone, real estate sales were up 8.8% over 2019, for a total transaction value of $12.2 billion, a 33% increase over 2019. Around 195,000 realtors operate in Florida, and you can start a real estate business of your own for less than $1,000. In connection to real estate, Florida's accommodations industry saw steady growth through 2019. 2020 was not an easy time for the state's hotels and motels. However, there is a steady rise of more occupancy as the world get back to its previous state in 2019. However, with full recovery for Florida's hospitality industry not expected until 2023, opening a motel or hotel in Florida, and getting required licenses, may have a rocky startup period. Whether opening an independent property, buying into a franchise, or purchasing a motel on the market, these next couple of years could set you up for success once tourism booms again. That goes double in key markets like the Florida Keys, Orlando, Jacksonville, Tampa Bay, Naples, and South Florida.